All right, well let's dive into just some current stuff. We actually have quite a bit today. So what I want to do again, we're assuming that the um, iOS, iPad OS, Watch OS, and Sonoma, all of those updates are going to drop while we record today. I mean,
Right.
they've had two release candidates on iOS 17.1. So if they don't come out today, I'd be very, very surprised. So let's just do quick fire through these because I don't think there's anything brand new. We've talked about most of this stuff. Let's do quick fire through these and maybe give any detail on any of them that you care about. So, Jason, do you
Right.
want to start us off with iOS 17.1 and iPad OS 17.1? Because pretty much they're the same thing except for the one item
They're
on
the same.
iPad.
But
Yeah.
I have a complaint about iPad too, so we'll get to that when we get there. But yeah, starting off was AirDrop over the internet, right? Internet transfers. And this is something that we use almost daily here in my household. I was real excited for this feature. So basically, you don't have to be in close proximity to each other to be able to transfer files, to be able to finish files. I think to initiate it, you have to be in the same room. But then I can go out to the shop or come to the room, and I'm not standing there with my phone close to my wife's MacBook or something just to transfer some pictures or video files off. So looking forward to that. That was one I was disappointed that didn't make it in the original release. So hopefully we'll be getting that today. We can start using it. So the next one is standby controls. So standby, of course, is the when you put it on your MagSafe charger or whatever, it has analog clock or digital clock face, and it has a couple of controls there. Um, they're adding a feature where well, they're adding more controls to that, right? So just some more options. So not really a big deal. I don't know if anybody's really um, using this like, you know what I mean? If it was the breakout feature that they want it to be, right? I know
Yeah.
you're using it because you're new to MagSafe.
Yeah. I mean, I
Me, I
like
find
it.
it distracting.
I do find it a bit distracting on my desk.
Hmm.
But I do like the fact that now you'll be able to say never turn the always on display off, turn it off automatically after 20 seconds. So you have a little bit more finite
Right.
control. Because I was confused about this the first time I had sleep mode on, and the always on display was turning off within like a few seconds, and it still does it automatically. And automatically essentially means that if you don't interact with, or it can't tell that you're looking at the phone for a while, it's going to turn the always on display off, which is a good thing for battery.
Mhm.
Right. So, but now you have a little bit more finite controls. These are not the finite controls I want for standby. I want more widget controls. I want more, some of the other stuff that needs to come for standby. But hey, at least they're showing us with this one and one other feature that that we'll talk about eventually. At least they're showing that they can go in and update some of this stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. So Apple Music updates, it was mostly just around being able to favorite songs and stuff from widgets and things like that. Not really a big deal to me because I don't use Apple Music like at all. I let so many 3-month trials pass me by whenever we buy new devices. Do you get any use out of that, or is that big deal for you?
yeah, I mean, I do favorite stuff, but it's mostly artists that I favorite so that I get
Right.
notified when they release something new. Um, and the customizing the playlists, I've just not got around to doing some of that kind of stuff. So we'll
Right.
see. The other one, the at the bottom of your playlist to be able to suggest songs that might go well in your playlist. I'll
Hmm.
try that at some point, but my music tastes are pretty specific. They're fairly
Yeah.
broad. I mean, I'll listen to everything from opera to, modern stuff, across the board. About the only thing I don't
Hmm.
listen to is um, rap and some of the techno kind of stuff. But
You're right.
I
Right.
just don't. I've never really found Apple's curation stuff to be in alignment with my tastes. So
Right. So the next thing is some updates to the wallet. So I see you have, so you can see balances and things like that within the wallet. I see you have Discover here. That slipped past me. So I'm actually excited to see that in action. I want to see that work. That's something I may get some use out of. Photo shuffle on the lock screen. I didn't realize that this was one of the features because I had used it. I didn't realize this was one of the features that got left out in the original release of 17.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the ability to be able to specify which ones it's shuffling before. I actually use Photo Shuffle, but I added the photos I wanted on there manually. So I think
Hmm.
this is just more the ability to do albums and people and nature, and which is actually what I do on the standby mode on the one standby screen that I have in my office is I have it shuffle a few key categories of stuff.
Right.
And I like that, but still can be a little distracting.
Yeah. Yeah. See, so I thought that was all included in 17. It was just one of those features I didn't use that I didn't realize didn't make the cut. So, but yeah, maybe I'll play around with it after a few weeks. We'll see. So, action button pocket mode. So, tell me about this because that I don't have the action button, of course, on the phone. So, is this one of the things you had been waiting for?
No, because this is people accidentally pressing the action button and it doing whatever it's supposed to do when it's in their pocket. So
Okay.
now it's using the all of the accelerometer and all of the sensors and stuff to know that it's in your pocket,
Right.
and it's going to make you hold the button even longer than you have to today to activate the action. So it's just supposed to do, less less accidental activations
Okay.
of the button. So I'm not excited about this. I could care less about this because I don't have that problem. What I what this tells me is that they have the ability to customize the action
Yes.
button and they can do more with it. So please give me a double press, give me a triple press, and give me a long press. You can already do that with the power button. You can
Yep.
single press to turn off the phone. You can double
Double
press to
press to
activate
get your
Apple
wallet.
Wallet. Yep. And
Yep.
you can triple press as an accessibility thing. So
Right.
just do it with the action button. Come on.
Yeah. I'm sure it's coming, and I'm sure there's a reason why. Of course, we'll never know the reason why they didn't include it because Apple always does weird stuff. But yeah, I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah.
So, of course, there's some bug fixes. I seen pictures of that burn in. They're calling it burn in. It's not actually burn
Yeah.
in, right? Not like a LCD screen or old plasma monitor or something like that. But it does give some ghosting on the screen. So
Yep.
people have been seeing that. Some other bug fixes. Uh, that problem we mentioned last week where the phone was rebooted, or like me, I'll grab the phone because the screen is off and I'm reading with the Apple logo. So there's still no fix for that. There's still no update on no news on that.
Nothing. Apple hasn't
Yeah.
said anything about this, and it's hit a lot of press. So I'm surprised. But here's what I noticed. And matter of fact, I probably should check and make sure that my phone actually backed up last night. So I was camping, and so I was not on Wi-Fi
Hmm.
Thursday through until I got home yesterday, and I did not notice a single respring or restart of my phone overnight while I was gone. And I had been
Okay.
seeing it about every other day. So I wonder, does it have something to do with your iCloud backup and it's running those processes at night
Right.
or something like that? So I mean, I can't confirm that. I'm not an expert with that, but I just thought it was funny that either they fixed something in the back end and it stopped doing it. I'll see. It didn't do
Hmm.
it this morning that I noticed, or has something to do with those processes that are, running your backups up to the cloud overnight or something like that. So we'll see. But yeah,
Right.
no word, which I'm surprised they haven't said anything about it.
Okay. Well, I hadn't noticed it in a few days, but that doesn't mean it's fixed because it didn't happen every night, right? It,
Yeah.
it would happen once or twice a week. So, and we're just getting started this week. So we'll see. Hopefully they did fix it. Maybe it's one of those things where they just fix it and like, hey, we don't even have to say anything about it. It's good.
Yeah.
So moving on to iPad OS 17.1, I actually was a little frustrated because I'm like, okay, I'm seeing all the videos for iOS. I'm like, okay, let's see what the changes are with iPad OS, right? Because that's my jam right there. That's my main device. Nothing. I'm like, okay, well,
No.
maybe my usual guys hadn't put out anything. Let me give it a few more hours. And I looked and I'm like, nothing. So there's nothing new worth noting. Probably some bug fixes, some security, some background things like that. But there's nothing new worth noting in iPad OS 17.1 other than this janky pencil that they announced, which I
Yeah,
have some complaints about.
we'll talk about that here in a bit, right?
So there's nothing new. If you're like me, you were excited to see what was coming along for 17.1 for iPad OS. Nothing. You get a pencil support, and that's about it. And like I said, there's probably some background stuff too that's going on, but nothing worth noting. And I'm
Yeah.
really disappointed. So days later, I'm checking my regular guys. I'm checking all of, CNET, the Verge, all of the usual suspects, and there's nothing on 17.1.
Give us some love, Apple. Come on.
Right, right. So what's new in WatchOS?
Nothing I care about. Um, so same,
That's
right?
yeah.
The double tap feature, which of course you and I won't get on the Ultra
Mhm.
because for whatever reason it's only on the Series 9 and the Ultra 2. That's out
Right.
there, and I want to see how this is going to really work out. I haven't heard a lot of people say this is groundbreaking and all that kind of stuff, and I still argue that while it's a little more convoluted, the um, the accessibility the accessibility gestures that I did a video on, I still think they're
Right.
better because you can do more with them, right? It's not just some default for Apple only apps, but we'll see. That's the one. And then the other one that I know you were excited about on the phone, because I think you
Hmm.
probably use this a lot with your face to face business, is Name Drop.
Right.
Well, now you'll be able to do it watch to watch too. And I would guess watch to phone,
Yeah.
but I
I'm thinking so.
I don't interact with people enough in person to go. I can't remember the last time I went to a conference, which is in the professional world when I probably would have
Mhm.
used it the most.
Right, right. And I've only got it to work maybe 3 times. People are just updating their phones. You
Yeah,
know, I guess we were with my excitement and your excitement for iOS 17 at WWDC this year. I thought everyone was feeling that excitement and was going to rush to update. Uh, I don't think that was enough for people. The average person, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure a lot of techies jumped on board, but yeah, a lot of people just they're just not updating their phones. Remember Apple used to release the numbers like this
yeah,
is like the most popular update, and everyone like 90% of our phones have already updated, and we're only 3 months in, and they don't
yep.
release those numbers anymore. So I think a lot of people aren't. Also, too, this may be a side note. Do you think because if you're on 16 and you're still receiving updates to 16, when you go to update, you're just used to tapping update and going to update. Do you think separating that out? Because you have to look down at the bottom when you go to software update, and then it says update to 17 and it has information. If you hit update, it'll still update your phone. Do you think that may be causing some confusion to
I don't know if
non-techie
it.
people?
I think it's maybe not getting the adoption as quick as possible. So I had two
Right.
experiences with this over the weekend. So we were in where my grandma lives, which is about an hour and a half away for my dad's memorial service.
Hmm.
And Wyatt drove down by himself and decided to drive up over the mountain. Gorgeous time of the year, right? To be
Right.
driving up over these mountains. And so when he went to leave to come back home, I said, "Did you upgrade to 17 yet?" He's like, "I think I did." And so he pulls up this because I was going to have him use check in, right?
Yeah.
Perfect opportunity to use check in. And he pulls up the screen. And he's like, "Oh no," because he had an update for 16 and he had a 17 was still down at the bottom. So he just hasn't gotten
Right.
around to it. It doesn't have that key feature. And then I grabbed my grandma's phone to see if she had upgraded to the latest version, and she's not on 17. I didn't put her on 17. I didn't want to
Okay.
deal with telling her all the new stuff because I just got done working on her MacBook.
Hmm.
And so there's nothing I can think of in 17 that she needs or wants. And she even asked me, she says, "Well, what are the new things?" I said, "Well, let me look and see if it's going to break anything that she does because she
Hmm.
does a limited number of things, right?" So I just made sure she was on the latest version of 16. So I do think there's something to that. Um, but I still think it's the right move, allowing people to get security updates and not have to worry
Yes.
about, do I have all of the latest stuff that I can have and not go to the brand new. And especially when you think back when they switched to iOS 7 and then when they went away from all the skeuomorphism
Right.
stuff, right?
Skeuomorphism. Yep.
Yeah, all of that stuff. So I think it's the right move, but I do think it slows it down.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because I do I because constantly. Two or three customers in a row, they'll be like, "Hey, where can I reach you? Where can I?" And I'll hold my phone out to their phone if I see they have an iPhone, and nothing,
Yeah.
nothing. So,
Yeah.
but so back to WatchOS name drop on the watch. I think I would use that just as much if we can get people on board to update, especially those older model watches. Um, uh, it's crazy, right? I'm talking about how people aren't updating the phone. I see people wearing their Apple Watches and they're just wearing them, like, they're not charged, they're not
I
on,
know.
they're not people aren't getting the use out of their watches that I wanted, and when I see people, I'm like, "Okay, they're wearing it because 'cause they're used to having it on their wrist, right? They're used to having it on, but some of those older series, you have to charge those things so much, and I think people just get tired of it, right? I don't feel like pulling it off the charger or whatever, so we'll see. We'll see if we can get people on board, get them updated. I'm gonna do my part and spread the word. Say these are the new features. Your watch can do it. Um, and try to get everyone I can on board so we can start using these features more.
You need to give every single person like that just a small business card that's got the QR code straight to the podcast and say,
Right.
this will
Listen to
help.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.